Welcome, 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 friends. Welcome back to Breath of Life Conversations. This is the place where we discover, transcend, get raw, and have fun with every conversation under the sun. And I'm so excited that you're here. Today is just me, actually. This is going to be the very first time that I ever do a, a solo Breath of Life Conversations. But, technically, I don't even really feel like I'm doing it on my own. You're here, you're listening, and I really hope that you have this dialogue with me in the comments. So let's get into it. What is it that I want to discuss today? So, what I really want to discuss today is something that is so near and dear to my heart, but something that I've never actually really like gone into, I guess, in a conversational way. And that is how we heal and our views on health and fitness. And I really want to take the time here to kind of tell you not only my own like story with health and healing, but also give you a couple of pointers and tips and things that I do as a medical intuitive and master healer to really like get you going, especially if you're here in the northern hemisphere. It is starting to be wintertime. It is deeply fall in in Minnesota right now, where I'm at. And so I figure why not just like kick this off and give you this pretty short conversation about health and healing. So, first off, the way that I view health and healing is very, very simple. It's a choice. And it's either a choice that we make consciously in our immediate life, in our 3D world, or it's one that we make unconsciously, either because we've got traumas or narratives that exist inside of us, a mindset, a belief system, or it's something that we have chosen prior to even coming into this life. So if you know me at all, or if you're new, welcome. If you're new, welcome. I should have probably started with that. But if you know me, you know that I am like I said, a medical intuitive. I am a master healer. I'm in just an intuitive flat. I can communicate with spirits on the other side. I'm psychic. I can see things before they happen. And all of the good things, the good things. Um, but for me, my mission and purpose in this life is to really teach people how to bridge the gap between modern medicine and energetic medicine and really teach you how to like bring everything together. And so with that comes my understanding of the fact that we're all souls or consciousnesses or spirit, however you want to use those words. I of course have my own interpretation of those words, but I won't impose those beliefs on you. But what I believe is that we all have an opportunity before we step into each life to choose which life and the events that are going to take place in our life. And we get the option to choose what is going to be the best possible course that allows us to come in and learn what we have to learn to advance our soul and our consciousness and get us one step closer to source again, back to where we're supposed to be, right? So, with that comes an understanding that while we're up there in this place where we're getting to look at all of the different lives that we have available to ourselves that allow us to possibly have the best outcome of fulfilling our soul contract, fulfilling and advancing our mission, and all of those good things, part of what comes with that is choosing whether or not we're going to have any major illnesses in our lives, any uh, very serious conditions, right? Chronic illnesses, whether we're going to end up being a person that has to struggle with our health or not. And so that is a conscious choice that we make, but it's one that we don't make in our current lives, right? So I say this to really get you thinking about your own situations and how it is for you, how you've ended up most of your life up until this point. right? Have you been a really sickly person, right? And I say this with all of the love in the world, right? Do you have somebody who's got a chronic illness? Do you have somebody in your life that has a terminal illness? Are you a person with a terminal illness, right? It can be hard to hear that on some level, whether it was consciously in this life or prior to coming into this life, that you chose to be sick. But what I want to remind you at this point is that if it was a choice to be this way, to have this thing, to experience this thing, then it's also a choice to be able to heal and to have it be something that has a positive outcome instead of just always being seen as negative. So for myself, I am a person that has only been sick in my now 34 years of living, only a handful of times. I can literally count on one hand the number of times that I have been truly sick. And I didn't realize growing up how much that was actually like a rarity, that I very rarely got, the common cold. I very rarely got the flu. I very rarely experienced something that laid me up and kept me in bed for extended periods of time. The first one that I can truly remember was when I got pneumonia when I was 2 or 3 or something like that. Um, it was quite painful. And I remember that from pretty much that point on, I was telling people, um, I was telling people, I'm never going to get sick. I don't want to be sick. Can't be sick. And it wasn't until I started this work as an intuitive and as a medical intuitive that I realized how much that narrative of I do not get sick existed inside of my DNA, existed inside of every cell of my body. And it really truly helped me be able to move through my life, especially when I became a nurse, that I just didn't get sick. I went through the entire pandemic, all of these years, never getting it. I had my family members that got it. I would test and I would be negative. I never once got it. And it was so fascinating to me that I really started breaking down why it was at that point, why I just didn't get sick, because I started realizing it wasn't just through the pandemic that I wasn't getting sick. I wasn't getting sick at all pretty much ever. And when I did get sick, like I said, the handful of times, like I have never gotten sick ever. It's so rare. I go decades without getting sick. And I realize that the times that I do, it's because emotionally there's either some big upheaval or I am like feeling a certain way. Particularly for me, it's this feeling of that nobody cares about me. And so I had to rewire for myself this association with if nobody cares about me, then I get sick. So that also tells you that I don't feel that way often. I very much understand that I am surrounded by people, or I have cultivated a group of people in my life that truly do love me and care about me and they want the best for me. And in the rare times that they don't surround me, I care about me and I believe in me. And that is something that has kept me in this really amazing state for a really long time. Now, there are other things that I do, but belief that I'm healthy, that I'm not going to get sick, that is the premier thing. Now, after that belief system, holding that belief system, I truly, truly give my body everything that it needs. I'm very good at listening to my emotions. And if you have done any sort of work with me, you or follow me on Instagram or any of those things, you know that one of the biggest things that I teach and reiterate all the time is that your body doesn't communicate with you in symptoms. Those are just reactions that your body is having, a very natural reaction to something happening externally or internally. How your body truly communicates with you, how your energetic body truly communicates with you is through your emotions. Your emotions are the very first thing that gets triggered when something happens to you. And if you ignore your emotions, that is when your body says, "Hey, you're ignoring me. I need you to pay attention. And if you're not going to pay attention to the emotions, then I'm going to do something that is going to make you understand that there's something that you have to pay attention to." Now, there are some caveats to this, things like generational or hereditary, inherited illnesses or sicknesses, and we'll discuss those in another video. Or you can take one of my classes, Mind Over Matter Level 1 in my Mystery School of Health, where I discuss all of this in depth and extreme detail. Um, but for the most part, if we're gonna like really like think about the like acute, it happens now, it comes on quick, it can last for 3 months, and you can feel terrible and be laid up in bed, that type of stuff. It really is your body having said, "You know what? I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you that something was wrong and you weren't paying attention. And now your immune system is low and it makes you susceptible to all of the billions of germs that exists out in the world that you come in contact with every time you touch a doorknob, you lick your fingers after eating something, you touch your keyboard, all of those things, right? So, really paying attention to how you are feeling is really the second biggest lesson that I can tell you of how I have kept myself healthy and well. And that comes with that comes for all of the big like major things both that influence both our physical body and our energetics, and that's going to be stress reduction, sleep, restful sleep, eating, and motion. I move my body when I need to move it. Like I know when my body is like, you have to do some exercise. There is no ifs ands or buts. I know when my body does not need meat because it can't handle it. I know when my body needs me to get more sleep than maybe the between 2 and 5 hours that I'm usually getting. Um, I also know how to reduce my stress level very quickly. And I do that through a multitude of different things, whether it be yoga, Pilates, meditation is a big one for me, breath work is a big one for me. These are all really important things that I do to not only enhance my physical body, but also my energetic one. It really helps me better understand where my emotions are and where they're living and what my body is trying to say to me. The last thing that I really want to cover here in this very short breath of life conversation is that I tend to do things that are going to both influence my physical and my energetic body. And the reason for this is because the other big lesson that I can teach you right here, right now, is that illness always has two aspects. One is energetic, the other is physical. And you can certainly handle one without handling the other, and you can get well, in my opinion. But from my experience, from the work that I do, both in the hospital as a nurse, as well as here as a medical intuitive and master healer, is that while you may get well, it's pretty temporary, usually. And that temporariness can be a few days to a few months sometimes, but ultimately you get sick again. Okay. And or you find that something reoccurs. So it really truly is important to not only listen to your energetic body, understand what your energetic body needs, handle the energetic portion of any illness, disease, dysfunction, whatever you want to call it, also support your physical body in the healing as well. And when you manage both of them, when you deal with both of them, that is where you find a very complete and holistic way towards healing. It's where you find the deepest healing. It's where you find the most full healing. So I hope that this was very helpful. I hope that you enjoyed this short little breath of life conversation. We'll hopefully be doing more of these. Hopefully, I know we will. So, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Breath of Life Conversations. I will see you next time. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Bye, y'all.